Welcome to the iBIBLE podcast with Steve Cleary, brought to you by RevelationMedia. In part 2 of this series, Steve Cleary of RevelationMedia and Zach Leighton of Reliant Creative continue their discussion from the Ministry Growth Show on the purpose and challenges of creating the first comprehensive visual narrative of Scripture. Join us as they explore the transformative potential of a visual Bible for today's world.
I'm trying to pay attention to younger generations that are popping up here and there that are creating some visual content. There's a couple creators on YouTube and TikTok that are using some AI stuff they'll do some comparison videos. Like we historically have viewed angels like this, and they show a couple, Renaissance style paintings, and then they'll use AI to generate based on what Scripture says an angel is described as, or when Elijah calls down fire on the altar, like what we view in our heads and what we've seen in paintings and art in history to what AI describes and creates based on biblical descriptions, like are these vast differences visually, and it gives you a really cool visual understanding of what's really going on in these Bible stories. And so I'll share those with my kids, and they're all of a sudden their eyes are wide open. They're super excited about now these Bible stories that they've heard us read to them at night. They get to see imagery and visual representation of what that maybe could have actually looked like versus what they come up with in their own minds. And so it is cool to see, and it's exciting to see some of these younger generations and content creators popping up and generating some stuff. But by and large, I think that, man, when you look across the church and the content that's being created, it's just, in our research, we've done a little bit of research on our own, and this isn't extensive, but you're talking 1,000 plus churches and ministries. And taking in the research we did, we just took a look at the content that they were creating. What is the content that we're creating? And 99% of it is instructional in nature, educational in nature. Very little of it is narrative and story and testimony-driven content. Wow. And when you look at the content creators that are winning in digital, they are winning because they're creating narrative-driven content. Story always wins. It just always does, especially when you're talking orality, communication culture, and visual. It just always does. And so when you look at the secular world and who's winning in the space, it's narrative-driven. And we continue to enter into that space, not only calling to us and the content we're creating and inviting to us and broadcasting our stuff, but it's completely irrelevant to how people behave. And so, it's just, we need to start thinking about this a little bit more seriously, I think, because like you said, this is just a massive shift that's taking place. And if we don't make some adjustments, it's going to have some significant implications.
Zach, I'm very thankful for the ministries that are doing it. And I know, I confess, sometimes when we talk about the 90% negative and we gotta highlight those who are doing a good job. I tend to look at the whole picture and dealing with other ministries as well, and saying, because I see these tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars being invested into textual-based learning. Right. The other thing that we have seen is that because of social media, there's not only a shift in heart language, there is a shift in how we learn. And so, you back up as parents or grandparents or teachers or pastors, we can do instruction, right? But on social media, there is no instruction. On social media, there's dialogue. And so if you look at engagement, and if you want to tell a young person what to believe, are they going to engage with you? If you ask a young person a question, how do they engage? When we build resources for iBIBLE, the first set of resources are questions. And people say, well, what's the answer? And I said, we do not give the answer. Let the pastor, let the teacher, and maybe there's not an answer. So when my son, who is a millennial, and he was 29 or 30, was the last time he went to church. Actually, no, he has gone back to some churches, but he was afraid to go back. He had questions. And when he asked those questions, the church basically said, this is the answer, and if you don't think like this, you're in a lot of trouble. And his answer to stay out of trouble was not to go back to hear it. And he said, Dad, they just gave me blanket answers. And one thing I tried never to do with my millennial age son is to give him answers. I want to point him in a direction so he can find the answers. But it's no longer, hey, this is the truth, just accept it. He's going to go on social media and he's going to find 10 other people that are going to debate me and probably do a much better job, and they're going to enter into dialogue. And I realized the importance of this when I did my first episode of iBIBLE, first couple episodes, and I showed it to my son, and there is a serpent in a garden who deceives Eve and Adam. And my son asked, why was the serpent in the garden to begin with? What's he doing there? This is God's garden. Why is he there? Great question. Easy answer? I don't think so. I mean, maybe some people watching have an answer. I don't have an easy answer. But we talked for the next 20 minutes about God and about free will and about our choice and what we do and who is God. And I believe it really ministered to him. And I later in, a year down the road, I hear him repeating the dialogue to other people and saying, what about this? What about that? And Dad, what do you think? And I'm like, well, you keep talking about what you think. I'm kind of liking it. And so we can't just instruct youth, right? We have to invite them into dialogue. And that's the other dynamics of visual digital media, is even how we interact with the next generation and how we get them to learn. We say they want to discover. And if we don't allow them a role of discovery, they're going to find it easily the second they walk out in the parking lot, or even while they're at church. They're going to hear something and they're going to start discovering something different on social media.
Yeah.
So how we do that becomes critical. To me, it becomes critical thinking and rethink how we do digital, rethink how we engage the next generation.
Can you share some of the success stories and feedback that you guys have received from the initial releases of iBIBLE episodes?
Yes, of course. It's really been exciting to us because we call it proof of concept, right? So anytime you're doing something new and you're fighting something that, Bible engagement going down, we want Bible engagement to go up. When we released our first 6 episodes of iBIBLE, we actually didn't release them. My distributor released them in Vision Video, and he did it without my permission. He did it without my knowledge. And then he called me back, some months later, and he says, we need more. I says, what do you mean? He goes, we need more of these episodes. And I said, we're actually redoing them. We didn't like them. We think they can be better. And he goes, did you see what's happening on YouTube? And I'm like, no. And I looked and I saw how many views there were. And I said, that can't be right. And again, these are episodes I threw away and redid. And so it came as a surprise to me. There were like 14 million views across the 6 episodes that we never advertised, and I didn't even know they were on YouTube. So I never put in my mailing list to them. I never asked my people to watch them. And today it's grown to 24 million views, and we've released more episodes. We're starting to release more languages. And then, so 24 million views, we're not advertising it. It's only a part of the whole Bible. We can easily extrapolate 1 billion views a year if we get the whole production done and put it in the top languages of the world that are already on YouTube. But we also give to ministries. We put it on our own websites. And then, Zach, we did the special episode of iBIBLE called The Real Story of Jesus, because we want people to know the salvation message even before we have the whole Bible done. So they're watching Genesis. They're like, okay, well, how do I be saved? And so we called it the salvation episode. It released entitled The Real Story of Jesus. We put it's on YouTube, but we put it on our websites, mobile websites. We promoted it on social media a little bit, kind of seeded it. We've had 3.7 million people watch across now 100 languages. And we've had 248,000 people. We're just about to go to 250,000 that have told us they prayed for salvation after watching the episode. These are people that have told us. We don't know how many people haven't told us. We don't know where they're at in their prayer, were they already Christians? I mean, these kind of things we don't know. We're throwing seeds, right? But I never would have anticipated in 1 year having 248,000 people write to me saying they accepted Christ. I never saw that coming. All based on a 9-minute video episode. Because on social media, we got to be careful too, right? We're not going to put a 2-hour movie we like to do 7 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute, 9 minutes. We're working on a 10-minute episode now. It'd be the longest episode we've ever done. We're doing it on Christmas, it's just going to be 10 minutes long. So we're seeing the hunger. The only thing stopping us from putting more content out is time and money, obviously. We already have like 50 people and we spend every penny that God provides to us in making these episodes. We're going to be releasing our first New Testament episode in 3D animation, a new style of animation we're doing, November of this year. And we're continuing to work on Life of Christ. It would be about 40 episodes. And we'll go back to Exodus after that. But if you can imagine, if this whole thing was done, and I mean, I've told my board of directors, if somebody comes up that can fund this and put 200 people on it, let them have it. Whether they want me involved, I'll sweep the floor. I don't need to be the director. I don't need to be the writer. I just want to see it done. I want to see it funded. I want to see it on social media. I want people to put 1-minute clips on TikTok. We have proven the model. We have seen what will happen, and what we believe biblically based content, actual translation of scripture, will be one of the most viewed things on social media. We believe that's possible. We believe we can turn the trend of a declining Bible engagement among youth to an increasing Bible engagement among youth. And if people look at our back offices and look at the reports, we believe they will agree this can be done. But I can tell you, we have almost no success moving large organizations to think this way. I really wish we could. The board has said, no, we would never remove you and let somebody else do it. And I said, no, you're not hearing me. This is not about me. This is about getting this project done. I would like to see it done in the next 7 or 8 years. I don't currently have the money to do that. Every day, we just continue to step out in faith. We try to do things more efficiently, and we're going to keep producing episodes. And that's, even when I faced death, that was my prayer. God, if you're ready to take me home, I'll go. If you want me to stay, I'll work on iBIBLE and continue trying to share this message and be a catalyst for digital biblical media that needs to go forth. But yeah, we're seeing millions and millions of people watching and people getting saved. It's actually phenomenal.
So you're publishing this content the same on your app as you are on social media. So the same content will show up on YouTube as it does on the app that I can go download.
Yes. The only difference on the app is you're going to have access to the resources. We can't put the resources on YouTube. We give it to ministry partners. I had someone tell me they showed our episodes at a community day. People were waiting to, I don't know what they were waiting for, register, get a free water. I don't know. But while they were waiting, they were watching the real story of Jesus. And a pastor wrote to us and he said, I don't know how many people were impacted by this. There were 400 people came to that event that day, but he can tell you 8 people came to me on their own and told me they accepted Christ after watching it. Those are people that just went out of their way to tell a pastor that, thank you for sharing this, and we are now followers of Christ because you showed that. So, we heard people showing it in public school to talk about the Bible as literature. We're on a TV program and we're on the largest Christian station in Kenya. We didn't even know. And so we don't know where it's going. We do know where if it's on our YouTube channel or if it's on one of our websites. But we don't know all the places it's going and the people that are using it. So it could be 5 times what I see. But anything we see is great. 248,000 people is exciting, but 8 people from a community in Florida is exciting to me. Yeah. Because there are 8 people that maybe weren't following Christ before. 8 people we'll see in heaven. And so we don't just go by numbers. We want individual impact, and a lot of people write to us and share with us how they're using the episodes, but a lot of people probably don't write to us. If you want to get the app, it's on the Apple App Store. It's on the Android Google Play Store. Just look for iBIBLE by RevelationMedia. It's free to download or free to subscribe to. And we're going to be uploading new content even before the end of the year. We're going to be updating new languages, and we're going to be adding new features. We're kind of at version 1 right now. We launched it 5 or 6 months ago. Okay. We've had 150,000 people download it, and we're looking forward to our first 1 million. Zach, I'm sorry I get excited about this. This project can be done. This project can make a worldwide missional impact, but we need more people willing to do it. That's the bottom line. Whether God is calling you to animate, to distribute, to be a part of social media, to financially support, we need a lot more people that are going to say, let's put out a visual Bible and let's put out more visual content. Let's use AI to tell us what an angel looks like. It's fun, right? We don't know what an angel looks like. Our guys draw one. We just did Gabriel. I don't even know if I like him, but we had to come up with an image for Gabriel. And we didn't use AI, but I would love to see what these people are doing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So if there's ministry leaders or churches out there that want to support you guys or an individual that just has the capacity, like, what is your funding gap that you need to finish this thing?
This project is going to cost us $25 million at least to do the whole Bible. Breaks down to a little under $100,000 an episode. Okay. As animation goes, it's cheaper than any other animation out there. I guarantee you, we're about 1% the cost of a Disney film. We're a fraction of the cost of a VeggieTales or a Superbook. I mean, we try to go as efficient as possible. We have volunteers, we have paid staff, we have interns, all working together to make this possible. If you want to get in touch with me, you can help in any way. You can go to i.bible. It's not .com. It's just i.bible. You can go to our website. You can always contact us. You can donate. If people that can volunteer. We have employees, interns, and volunteers. I mean, we just try to be as efficient as possible. It's more important for us to feel people want to be part of the project. They want to be called to be part of this. Someone told me before that organizations go through, they start with a man, they move to a movement, and they go to a monument. And of course, monument doesn't sound like a nice word. It's not. I have no desire to ever get to a monument, but I do have a desire to be a movement. I mean, part of me would want to do this project and cease to exist and just make sure 100 other people are doing it better than I can. If I can impact change in how we address social media and biblical content, then my job is done. And that's really what I want to see happen. And in my life, it's more important because, even today, my cardiologist told me I'd be dead 5 years ago today. So I don't know. God will give me the time he gives me, whether that's 5 years or, 20 more years to work. But I kind of feel a time crunch. I kind of feel the church is behind. I kind of feel we have to step up. And if we don't, I'll tell you who is stepping up in a big way, and that's Satan. And we know that. We just, go look at the number one thing on YouTube right now. It's a talking head in a toilet. It's disgusting. And it's brain rot. The enemy wants either lies, deception, or brain rot. He wins either way. And he is super, super, super active on social media. And if you don't do anything, he ain't stopping. He ain't stopping anyway. But what are we going to do to fight that spiritual battle? And there is a spiritual battle for the next generation, and it's going to be fought with prayer. It's going to be fought with speaking the language of the youth and delivering content to them in their heart language. And I think there's no other way around.
The iBible Podcast with Steve Cleary, brought to you by Revelation Media. If you found these episodes meaningful, please subscribe, share, and consider supporting this remarkable project at i.bible. Visit the show notes for more information and resources from today's show. This episode was produced by Joshua Burton and Aaliyah Gonzales, with original theme music by Xperia.